And you're watching Menahan here on Sky News. Coming up next, not a man you'd normally find on a political programme, but Will Young is lobbying the Education Secretary. Find out what about after the break. Now then, I suppose Will Young isn't someone you would normally find on a political programme, but this week he's entered the world of lobbying. He's asking the Education Secretary, Michael Gove, to clamp down on homophobic language in schools. And he joins me now. Very good to see you. Well, thank you very much for coming along. And this is about the use of the word gay as an insult in schools.
Yeah.
What have you said and what are you going to say to the Education Secretary?
Well, I said to him at Stonewall's education conference back in June, I think it was, that what I started with was saying statistics. So 23% of young gay people attempt suicide. 56% will self-harm. And 81% who hear the word gay as a pejorative term feel distressed about it. And my point was that this is a crisis. Yeah. I mean, that is a crisis. And I think the problem is that gay was claimed as a sort of negative term in the 80s. So I grew up with people saying, oh, that's so gay, this is so gay. And it's never really been addressed. And language is the most important thing. It was the most important thing in the evolution of women's rights, of racial equality, religion, you know, and I think this is sort of, I call it part of the wallpaper, you know, of the education system and of our society.
Or the mood music as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'll use that.
Okay,
you know,
you're free.
And yet it's so important because if you're Irish and you're growing up as an Irishman or Irish woman and you hear people going, oh, that's so Irish, God, that's so Irish, and it's always in referral to something negative, you're going to start feeling more and more shame, you're going to start feeling defunct about yourself, you're going to start feeling wrong. And this has been going on for 30 years now in schools.
Yeah.
And I think what's really exciting is there's a huge opportunity to start changing that.
But I mean, that's what I wanted to ask you next about the practicalities of it all, because we know educationalists, teachers, so they are at the sharp end, they hear it, they see it, they confront it or they deal with it or they explain, but there isn't kind of an overall policy about how to handle it.
No, there isn't in Ofsted. There isn't a sort of set agenda for homophobic language. And within that there are a few problems because teachers, over half of secondary school teachers don't think that a pejorative use of the word gay is homophobic. Over half will say that it happens so often, you know, what can we do about it? And then 1 in 10, and I think this is really important, 1 in 10 teachers are only trained to deal with homophobic language. And that's where I'm going to be coming in and working with Stonewall to start setting up more of a programme so teachers know how to communicate this to young children. Because, you know, young children don't sort of wake up one day and go, oh, I'm going to use the word gay as a negative term. They've learned it.
You're right. But I mean, do you think it's a long process, and is it something, you know, we used racially pejorative language, you know, quite commonly
when
in the
I
60s
was at
and
school,
70s, even
when
on
I was
television,
at school,
but that changed. Do you think a similar evolution could take place?
Yes, I mean, already in schools that really tackle this language drop by 1/3 in terms of their homophobia in the school. And I think that's a really important statistic. It goes from about 71 to 45%, because it shows that things work. You know, it shows that it's working. And I think it is a long game. And again, that's why I feel it's exciting, because already over the last 5 years with Stonewall's work, with our work, we've had a 10% drop in the use of homophobic language in schools.
Is there indications that the education department, that the secretary himself is receptive to this approach?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I sort of said to Michael Gove, you know, this was, you know, things need to be done about this, and he actually described the use of the term gay in a pejorative way as medieval. So, and he was impressive actually, and he said he would look into it more. And I guess my point now is, you know, words do need to go into actions. Schools need to be encouraged, if not pressed, to start dealing with this use of the word gay.
Because I can join this up. I mean, I don't know if you're aware about the Gay British Crime Survey, which is coming out this week, and it's that kind of language. It's these some shocking statistics here. You've been quoting quite a few statistics here, but 1 in 6 gay people feel that they have suffered from some kind of homophobic hate crime. That equates to something like 630,000 people, and half who reported it said no action was taken about it. No action at all.
You know, and
a lot of people don't bother reporting.
And I said that to Michael Gove as well. You know, as a layman watching, you know, I was aware of a law coming in that sort of aided gay people to cite homophobic language and bring an action against them. I don't know anyone that's really done that, you know, and I think this is the problem. It's too laissez-faire, and really the thing underlining all of this is gay rights is still put below other areas, and it needs to come up to the same level.
Well, I mean, you know, the other thing, the other shocking thing coming out of this survey was a lot of the people surveyed said they had low expectations of the police, and even the Metropolitan Police, we know, who said they've been addressing issues like this for a long time. Low expectations of the police. I mean, do you have low expectations?
No, I don't actually, because I think the
Metropolitan
That's the one.
Police.
It's too early.
Hard to say in a
I actually think they've done really well in addressing homophobia and gay rights within their institution. I think the problem is it's not being pushed from above. If it's not being pushed from above as a priority, they've got a lot of things to deal with, you know. And this is the thing. It needs to be set on the agenda by government.
I mean, you say you're getting encouraging noises from Michael Gove. I mean, what do you think when you see, we were talking mood music, when you see things like gay marriage, you know, which Mr. Cameron did push through?
It's brilliant.
Seen as some political, you know, well, large political damage within his party, but he was adamant this had to happen. This was what a normally civilised society in the 21st century should have.
Exactly. I think normal civilised is the phrase to use. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I think now, you know, now it's time to look at the devil's in the detail. Now it's time to look at the detail, and the use of the word gay that seeps in to the education system, so children just, you know, drink it in as a bad thing. Now it's time, you should never rest on your laurels, you know, now it's time to go for that.
It's kind of wake-up call. Will Young,
it is.
We're ending it there. Thank you very much indeed. You're wide awake on that. I know you're
I am now, yeah.
Wide awake on a Sunday morning. Really good to see you. Will Young there. And still to come.